Majid, isitokubela supply yami lesi mina ngiyayisupport kodwa.
Sibuka imali yakhe supply wami thina siyancane.
Ngiyazi bafowethu ukuthi ngiyanqanywa. Mina ngicela ukuthi fill up the table.
Fill up the table.
In America today, we tend to only care about our own cultures. We tend to not explore or even think about any culture outside our own. However, my classmates and I decided to venture to a whole another continent. We decided to venture into the Zulu culture and explore their traditions, their religion, some of their just ways and the way they go about things in their culture. In this video, we are going to interview several young adults and expose them to Zulu culture. On the first half, we're going to just survey them with questions and just kind of get their take on some of the Zulu traditions. In the second half of this video, we are going to broaden their horizon and not only ask them random questions that pertain to Zulu culture, we're going to inform them of Zulu ways and how they do things. You'll be quite surprised when you find out what Americans think about Zulu culture. Hope you enjoy.
Alright. How you doing, Rick? It's good, man. Do you know where Zulu is or anything about their culture?
Man, last time I heard of Zulu, I thought that had something to do with Africa.
Okay. I mean, you're right, though. You're right. But do you know anything about their culture?
No,
Not really. Okay, that's fine. Okay, how you doing today, Mr. Miller?
It's good.
Alright. So, do you know where Zulu is or anything about their culture at all?
Man, I have to say I want some lasagna.
So that's the closest you can get us to the...
That's the closest I can get to it, man.
Alright, okay, well, I'm gonna take that. Okay. You know, Mr. Taylor? Fine? Okay. My first question for you is, do you know where Zulu is or anything about their culture?
Well, Zulu would be referred to as the tribe that come from the origin of South Africa.
Okay, that's actually right, Joe. I appreciate that. Okay. We're having a conversation. Do you look the person in the eye? Yeah, why?
Well, I feel like having a conversation is best with the person to know that, they're undivided attention.
Okay, that's a good answer. Alright. So we're having a conversation. Do you look the person in their eye?
Nah, for real, I just focus on like whichever spot on your face. I just look at everything.
You look at everything?
Yeah, so if you got a zit on your face, I'm gonna notice it.
Okay. So no, you don't look at people in their eye?
No.
Okay.
Well, I do, but it just depends.
It just depends on
It's
what
not
you
gonna be
pick on
a
your face.
constant eye look. I'm not.
Yeah.
I feel like that's weird. I don't want to just.
I feel you. I feel like it might make them uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
It is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I completely understand though. When having a conversation with somebody, do you look the person in the eye?
I mean, I feel as though when you meet and greet somebody for the first time, that is the first impression that they will leave from this conversation.
True. Eye contact, yeah, this is a big part. To what extent would you go to make sure that your partner is not being admired by somebody else?
I mean, I would just do whatever I can to make sure I'm the only person that she's thinking about.
Okay. And what do you mean, do?
I gotta describe it.
Can you just give me a little description of what you mean?
Let's see. Just, remain consistent, constantly be there, show that support, be that backbone that she's gonna need, so that way, just in case if she tries to think about somebody else, she won't need to.
Okay. Alright. That's a good answer, bro. I like that.
Word.
And I appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate it.
No problem. And to what extent would you go to make sure that your partner was not being admired by somebody else?
It's impossible.
It's
I can't
impossible?
do it, man. Nope. Just do what I can do. If I do whatever don't work, I'm saying if that shit don't, if it don't work, I'm gonna pack my bags and keep it moving.
Okay, alright. So basically you wouldn't stay around if she was admiring somebody else?
That mean it ain't meant to be.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate your time, man. I really did. Thank you. To what extent would you go to make sure that your partner was not being admired by somebody else?
See, we don't have to ever worry about that because I'm me, Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Taylor?
All right, don't you forget that. All right, I'm her backbone. I'm all she needs.
Okay.
Everything she wants.
I would say no. It's not quite a part of it. It has a connection, but I think it's common sense to get up and take a shower every day and just keep yourself in an orderly, looking decent way.
I would say cleanliness is usually a part of every religion in some aspects. Some are more strict about it, others don't really focus on it much, but I feel like it's just understood that cleanliness should be a part of daily life in general.
In my religion, cleanliness is a part of it. I don't practice it as much as maybe my grandmother would like. However, I know that during the high holidays, such as Passover and whatnot, we'll have dinner and everybody is to wash their hands in this large basin of warm water with a cloth, and it's very clean, especially around the holidays.
Well, I believe cleanliness is part of my religion, but I'm not completely sure. And mostly I practice like a spiritual cleanliness, opposed to like, an actual physical cleanliness.
I would say that might be a little bit excessive. However, if I were Zulu, I guess I would have to go along with it. I guess I just have to respect what they do.
I was not aware that the Zulu people took 5 showers a day. That seems like a bit much. At least we know they're clean. But that seems like a little bit much for me. If I was a part of the Zulu culture, obviously I would adopt that practice. But as far as I'm concerned, in the way I am now, I would not take 5 showers a day. That's not my lifestyle.
My opinion of the whole 5 showers a day thing is that is excessive and probably awfully time consuming. I think that it's just a lot to deal with. However, from a different standpoint, if it's part of your religion, that's totally an incredible thing that you're taking part in. There are other cultures and religions that pray 5 times a day, so if you're showering or bathing 5 times a day, that's just your thing, so that's cool.
I feel like the 5 showers a day is a bit excessive, to be honest with you, but at the same time, I guess like that way works into the religion that like if you have a cleanly body, you have a cleanly soul.
My answer would be yes to that question because, before we sit down to eat, we say our grace and thank God for the food that we've been given and also the family, the fellowship that we have together.
As far as religion affecting my dining habits, not really. I mean, pretty much eat whatever I want. But within Catholic religion, the only time it would affect my dining habits is during like Lent season when you're not allowed to eat meat on Fridays. But I kind of don't really practice that anymore either. But I guess, you know.
I personally do not keep kosher, however my grandmother does, and it does affect her dining habits. She will not eat or drink anything that's not kosher, and additionally in her house she has separate dining ware and utensils for everything that stays kosher or doesn't stay kosher if she has guests over.
My religion mostly affects my dining habits during holidays, like during Lent when we can only eat or when we can't eat meat on Fridays, and we have to fast for the entire day. And,
I think it's very different that the Zulu culture, that they have different utensils for one meal. However, I would be probably a little bit interested into maybe seeing for myself how they do it. It's nothing that I would want to do every day or every week, but it might be something that I would like to try just to be able to say that I had that experience.
The use of multiple utensils during a meal seems like it would be a lot of work just to eat food. I appreciate when people when they value food and they don't just consume it and not think about it. So I feel like that's a part of their culture. I don't know that for sure, but I feel like they appreciate the food more than we do, because just as Americans and in Catholic culture, I suppose, you don't really think about what you eat, you just eat it. So I feel like that I think that's kind of deep, that they take their time to eat their food rather than just gorge themselves.
Yeah, that is a lot. I can imagine, especially if they're having large, multiple course meals, it can be extremely overwhelming. And my thoughts on that is that I would be so intimidated coming in and visiting that kind of culture. I'd be just very worried that I would offend somebody like that if I picked up the wrong utensil.
Personally, I don't want to have any kids, but if I did, I would probably have like a girl. Well, my preference would be to have a girl, just because knowing me, I have a very strong relationship with my mother, and so I would want to pass that down to my.
For me personally, it doesn't really matter what if I have a boy or a girl. As my first child, I would say that since I was raised with just one brother, I probably would rather have a boy be my first child, just because I feel like I would be a better father to a boy rather than a girl, because I don't know, kind of harsh sometimes. So I don't know, but yeah, I feel like I'd do better with having a boy as my first child.
personally, I think I would like it if I had like a girl first, because I feel like I would just, pamper her.
In my opinion, in the ideal world, I would like a boy as my first child, just because my oldest brother is a boy and he's just a very dominant figure in my life, very guiding, and helps me to, just lead a life that I'm proud of. But at the same time, my oldest sister is wonderful as well, so it really isn't a preference to me.
I guess that's just a part of the Zulu culture. I respectfully disagree. I wouldn't say that boys rule or girls don't. I think in America, we have families where they only have girls. In my family, we only have girls, and so.
Okay. I think that's unacceptable to practice life that way because, in my opinion, maybe. Girls are being born and they're not being loved as much as they should. They're being shunned, and your love with your husband isn't even being accepted until you have a man, and that's really degrading, on your life, on your emotions, on your relationships, and especially, your relationship with your child. If you continue to have daughters, that's really putting quite a burden on them as well, that, they're growing up knowing that they're not.
I feel like if you had to have a boy first before your relationship is like accepted by society, that it's really stressful on not only your relationship with your wife but also with your children, because if you have daughters first, they're gonna feel like they're not being as loved as much, because the father might just be like, I want you to be a boy, and the mother might just want to have feelings for them, but it won't be as accepted as
I feel like that's like a stereotype that the whole world has, even here in America and in multiple religions. I feel like women are constantly looked at as not being superior. I feel like we're trying to break through from that as a culture, especially here in America with, possible candidates for presidency, whether people like them or not. It's still a big move in culture, but I don't feel as though women are like second to men. I think it's just a level playing field, if you ask me.
Absolutely not. Just for me, that's nasty, in my opinion. It puts my life in danger because of all the diseases and infections that are going around. Thank God I am an American.
Personally, not really interested in having multiple spouses. I don't think that's like, I don't know, I just don't think that's cool. I feel like, first of all, it's a lot of time management. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of stress on everybody's part, not just the man's part in the relationship. And I just feel like it should just be between two people, not really multiples.
I would be open to having multiple spouses, because my relationship right now is hard enough with just one person. But having multiple people in my life that I'm supposed to love, it would just be ridiculous, because you have to work out so many different things, and you'd just be spread out too thin with your feelings, and it just wouldn't.
No, that's completely unacceptable. I think that love is between two people, and only two people, two females, two males, a man and a woman. That's it. I don't think you should be married to more than one person by any means. It's not a full and complete love.
Kahleni bafowethu, yini njalo nje mengizophuza la ekhaya lo mshini uthi nca nca